Welcome to Things You Should Know, Civil War Edition. Today we'll remain in Auburn, Virginia for the Second Battle of Auburn, also known as the Battle of Coffee Hill. The fighting commences the day after the First Battle of Auburn on October 14, 1863. We return to U.S. Major General Governor K. Warren leading his U.S. Second Corps under General George Meade's Army of the Potomac. His opponent won't be Jeb Stuart today from the First Battle of Auburn, but rather Confederate Lieutenant General Richard S. Ewell and its 3,000-man rescue force sent to break Stuart out of the encirclement that he is in. The end result was a draw. Before we do anything, we should recap the first battle where Jeb Stuart, trying to raid a Union wagon train, found themselves overwhelmed by superior Union force, trapping the entire column under Jeb Stuart's command. This forced Stuart to hide in a ravine overnight to await the Confederate infantry they had outpaced in their attempt to grab Union supplies. Meanwhile, after that day of fighting, Warren's Second Corps had broken camp at 3 a.m. and themselves were leaving. The weather, however, had made travel hard and the wagon train was incredibly slow in its trip to Catlet Station. To keep a rear guard in case Stuart tried another attack, General John C. Caldwell was ordered to secure the hill overlooking area. This hill by morning was already being called Coffee Hill. With that, we come to the next morning where Confederate Major General Robert E. Rhodes led his division under Ewell's corps as the vanguard of the rescue attempt. Starting at approximately 6 a.m. that morning, Rhodes attacked the defending Union 10th New York. The fighting got loud and thick relatively quickly, and the gunfire was loud enough that it alerted Stuart and his pickets that fighting was going on some distance off. Hoping for a lifeline to be thrown to him, he sent out troops to confirm. Once the scouts confirmed that Rhodes was attempting to break them out, he ordered horse artillery under Robert Beckham to shift their defensive position on the eastern side of Coffee Hill and assist the Confederate attack with artillery fire. As the Confederate cannons unloaded onto the Union troops, the Union commander Caldwell shifted his defenses by ordering his artillery to counterfire against the Confederates while he moved a majority of his troops to the western side of the hill. This would prevent Beckham from being able to target the Union troops with direct fire. Once his men were secure, Caldwell ordered Union Brigadier General Alexander Hayes to dispatch his men from the 125th New York Infantry and to take care of Beckham's artillery unit on Coffee Hill. Stuart, who was on alert, saw the Union's planned counterattack and turned and ordered his own Confederate Brigadier General James B. Gordon to assault the 125th, which Gordon did without hesitation. He was successful and blocking the counterattack engaged in heavy fighting. Stuart saw the success that Gordon was having and redoubled his order to Gordon to push the Union back. While he did this, he had his men saddle up and they immediately retreated away, much like the knights who fled to Vorpal Bunny. As Stuart scooted out of there, the battle lasted for a while longer. Eventually, though, the fighting dissipated, and by 10 a.m., all that was happening was a back and forth of artillery. By 1 p.m., the Confederate commander gave the final order and the Confederate forces disengaged from battle. The combat results themselves were a draw. The rescue of Stuart was offset by the fact that the Union kept their supply wagons untouched. Confederate leader Robert E. Lee, however, would not want to leave it at this, and would order General A.P. Hill to pursue the Union wagon train, and this will be our next battle, and yes, it'll also be the same day as this one. The overall casualties were 113 combined casualties, killed, wounded, missing, with sources not being clear on which side suffered how many. Join us again next time on Things You Should Know, Civil War Edition.